Hello, welcome to UFS TV. Very grey and dull morning, so we've got the lights on. So here we go. The reason that we started off with the books is because I've had a few emails recently, people asking me about books that they would recommend, or I would recommend for them to read. So I thought this would be an appropriate subject to look at. I'm going to start off with this book, which is John Little's book, the Commentaries on the Martial Way. And this is an excellent book because it fills in all the gaps from the Tao of Jeet Kune Do. So if you have read the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, you'll know it's a mishmash really of notes that were put together. It was hurriedly put together after Bruce Lee's death. Was published in 75 or 76, around that sort of time. Big seller. If you've ever seen Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, you'll see him writing the book. But that's a complete falsehood. The book actually came out after Bruce had died. Anyway, John Little was granted access to all of Bruce's notes in the 1990s, I think it was, late 1990s, early 2000s, and produced a number of books, some of which we've put out today. But this is, in my opinion, the best, the Commentaries on the Martial Way, and it fills in all the gaps from Bruce's notes, so it sort of gives you a more complete picture of Jeet Kune Do. So that's one of the first that I would start with. There are a couple of great books, if you can get them on Amazon, online somewhere. They've been out of print for a long time. Dan Inosanto's Art and Philosophy of Jeet Kune Do is a brilliant book and really fills in all of the history really of how Jeet Kune Do was formed, and it's just an excellent book, but it's been out of print for a long time. He also wrote Filipino Martial Arts, which again was the introductory text into Filipino martial arts. They're really good books. And finally, on the Jeet Kune Do, I would go for the textbook by Chris Kent and Tim Tackett, which again I think is an excellent book. The other books I want to recommend, again this is an old book. This is Arnold Schwarzenegger's The Education of a Bodybuilder, and it's part autobiography but also part training manual. The training manual in effect is okay. It's the autobiography. Now I know he's brought out Total Recall in recent months, which is probably more in depth, but this book had a really profound effect on me because there was one particular story where he talks about going into the woods with a friend of his, and they used to train really hard, and they used to take a couple of girls with them. They used to take some beer and some food, and they just lived like Vikings in their minds anyway, and they trained so hard. But of course what happened was, by taking a couple of girls and eating so much and drinking so much, is they were getting 50% of the benefit of the training. So what they did was they got rid of the girls, they got rid of the excessive drink and food, and just started training. And that's, by doing it intensely, they increased their ability to grow. And that made me think about the way that drink affected me in my early 20s. And basically, I stopped drinking by reading this book. I wasn't a heavy drinker, but I just was going into pubs as they were at the time when they were really smoky, and that wasn't doing my training any good. So I stopped going into pubs. I still go into pubs these days because you can go in without the cigarettes and stuff, but I haven't drank since I read this book. Now, it's not to put you off drinking, that's not the point, but it is a really interesting book if you can get it. A couple of years ago, this book by Chris McDougall really changed everything that I thought about running, and I've been running for 32 years now. It's just one of the best books I've ever read. It's one of the first books I've ever read, reread immediately as I finished it, because there's so much great information in it. If you're interested in running or training, Chris McDougall's book, Born to Run, is just brilliant. And finally, more of a personal development book, Think and Grow Rich, by Napoleon Hill. It is the classic of personal development, and it was well read by Bruce Lee. His statement about wanting to be the richest movie star, Asian movie star, all comes from this book, and it's based on the study of 200 millionaires over 25 years, people like Thomas Edison and Henry Ford and Andrew Carnegie, great entrepreneurs of the 19th and early 20th century. It is the best book there is on personal development, really. Bruce Lee, big fan. Many people who have gone on to be great business people have read this book, and as a backup to your martial arts training, I would definitely recommend this. So they're the four that I would recommend specifically, but the other books that I've mentioned again are great books. So happy reading, and see you again soon from UFS TV.